Hello everybody and welcome to Doki Doki Blue Skies part number 2. Let's go ahead, just jump right into things. Last time we pretty much just got acquainted / reacquainted since we already know all the characters. We just kind of got introduced and it was like, hey, let's join this literature club. But it's not like a scary one where people die. It's a cute girl one where it's just normal everyday high school stuff. Or we're gonna say college because we're assuming all the girls are over 18 in this game. And we're choosing Yuri. Imagine that. Because I was trash talking Natsuki the entire last episode. So, buckle in, strap on, let's go. Hey, could you help me pick out a book that you'd think I like?
Oh, I'd be happy to, if the prospect isn't too off-putting. I know of a wonderful horror novel.
I kind of forgot how to do everyone's voices, and it's only been like 20-something hours. Anyway, to be honest, horror never particularly appealed to me. Still, I want to make an effort here. I have an open mind. What book were you thinking of? Blushing, Yuri bends down and removes a thick book from the bookcase. It has a large, piercing eye on the cover. It almost feels like it's staring into my soul. I'm gonna turn down the music just slightly, just a little, just a teensy bit. All right, staring into my soul. ...
One of my personal favorites, Portrait of Markov. I know it might look intimidating, but sorry.
She shakes her head and goes to put the book back, but I stop her. Don't worry about it. I'd love to check it out. What's it about? A coy smile plays across her face, as though she were pleasantly surprised by my enthusiasm.
Let's see. The protagonist is a young high school student who moves in with her sister, but shortly after, sinister things start happening. The two are captured by an ominous cult that practices nightmarish experiments on their prisoners. Throughout the story, she's forced to make choices no one her age should have to make. In the process, her ability to trust others is warped, and many of her relationships are broken as a result.
Epic. Pretty dark, but hey, I'd be lying if I said it didn't sound interesting. Well, it definitely sounds pretty engaging. I think I'll read this book then. Natsuki mumbles something, but she's just barely out of earshot.
Really? You don't have to if you don't want to.
I do. While this might not be what I usually pick, your description of the plot intrigued me. Although I have to ask, what makes this your favorite book?
If I had to put it into words, I suppose I'm a big believer in literature's ability to challenge the psyche, so to have such an immersive tale question your ideals and foundations can be extremely exhilarating.
And this is kind of hard to read in that voice. I ain't gonna lie. She smiles and twirls a long lavender strand of hair around with her finger.
Words are immensely powerful. They can paint stunning portraits, invoke emotion, or even whisk oneself away to an entirely new dimension.
As she continues to speak, she transforms from the timid girl I just met into a proud and confident expert. I get the impression that she feels more at home with her books rather than other people.
Isn't that exhilarating, Markapi? We have such a vast vocabulary at our disposal, with such a powerful resource at our fingertips. We can do anything.
I clear my throat, hoping that I don't put her off with my evident inexperience. Yeah, when you put it that way, I can understand how powerful the written word can be. Such as poop, cum, shit, fart. I scratch the back of my head nervously. Fortunately, she finds that to be a satisfactory answer.
One must look at the words the author chose.
The author's chode.
We have so many synonyms. So, what compelled the author to shape their story the way they did? The feeling I get when I finally finish a truly compelling novel, it leaves me totally breathtaking.
I wish I had something as coherent to respond with. We might as well be from different planets. I think I know what you mean. She closes her eyes, pulling her hands close to her chest. Then, as though remembering she's not alone, she suddenly blinks and immediately appears more bashful.
Oh goodness. I'm sorry, I must have gotten lost in my train of thought.
She fidgets with a thin clip in her hair, sliding it up and down. Hey, don't worry about it. It's nice to see you talk about something you obviously enjoy. Who's to say otherwise? Yuri glances over to Natsuki, who simply raises her eyebrow in reply. Ah, does Natsuki not like these kinds of stories? She sighs and turns to look out of the window.
That's putting it lightly. We have our differences in what we enjoy, literature-wise.
She frowns slightly, as though pained by Natsuki's apparent disapproval. Well, I think everyone's different tastes are what make literature interesting, especially when thinking about it with other people. Talking about it with other people. I'm retarded. I can't help but grin. I feel like that was actually pretty clever.
Yes, that's a good way of looking at it.
I reach over and take a portrait of Markov from her, tucking it under my arm. Well, I'll give this a bit of a read and see how far I can get tonight.
I appreciate you giving it a chance, even if it's not something you're used to. I'll be looking forward to hearing your opinion. I must warn you though, once you get past the first few chapters, you might have trouble putting it down. And perhaps tomorrow, I mean, if you want to, we could discuss it.
She looks quite nervous as she suggests that. Guess that's just how her personality is. Yeah, we can do that tomorrow. Thanks for the recommendation, Yuri. I do need to branch out and try new things. This will be a good place to start. I'm grateful that I get to read it on my own, at least for now. I honestly have no idea if I'll even like it, and if I were reading it with her and decided I didn't, that might make things a little awkward. With the book in hand, I make my way to a desk. The others are all now preoccupied, so this seems like a convenient time to start the story. It's definitely an unusual book. Horror was never really my thing, but I have to admit, the main idea is intriguing and the main characters are written well. This is giving me some Zelda Forest vibes, the music. I don't know, maybe I'm a little more copy, if you know what I'm saying. The more I read, the more I can see why it appeals to Yuri. All that talk about appreciating sophisticated language. While it's not exactly my kind of story, to their credit, the author does a good job building up the rather bleak situation. I've never been particularly imaginative, but even I can picture the scenes in my head. If I weren't so tired, I could probably engage with it more. Over time, I can't help but grow a little bored though. I guess I've had enough to be able to discuss with Yuri tomorrow, so I decided to call it there. That's the right click. Looking up, I spot Sayori reading something. Might as well see what she's up to. I've probably read this long enough. Standing up with the stretch, I make my way over and take a seat next to her. Hey, how's it going, Sayori? What are you reading? As I sit down, I notice she looks quite content. Okay, I'm gonna take a sip of water while I try to remember what her voice sounds like. Very upbeat and positive, I believe. Ooh, I kind of want to just go back and watch what I made the voice, but, you know, F it, we'll do it live is a saying I usually live by. Okay, let's do this, fellas.
Nothing much, just reading some stuff for a school project. What about you? You seemed really into your book.
Oh yeah, it was a good read, at least as far as I can tell right now. I can't help but wish I sounded a little more enthusiastic.
That's great. So how are you liking the club? You're not bored, are you?
She looks a little worried, her cheerful persona flattering for a moment. Where did that question come from? It's a bit too early to tell how I really feel about the club. Of course not, Sayori. I haven't been here for long, but I've enjoyed meeting everyone. They've opened my eyes to new stuff. I've never been huge on reading, but I'm confident I'm confident the literature club could change that. I feel like every time I say literature, I say it so fast that it just kind of jumbles like literature. I don't know. Maybe I'm a little more copy, if you know what I'm saying. Well, I'm glad. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're involved. You don't want to join a club that you have no interest in, right? Oh man, dude, this is going to permanently damage my vocal cords. I know what you mean. I think reading will grow on me in time. Actually, do you mind if I sit with you and read? She looks at me clearly surprised. I don't think she was expecting me to sit next to her, but nonetheless, she seems happy. Her smile is infectious, lifting my own spirits too. That would be great, Markapi. We read for a while, which turns into talking fairly quickly, our conversation being a continuation of our chat from the walk to school. It's nice to just sit and talk with my childhood friend who'd have guessed reconnecting would be so easy. I haven't felt this content for as long as I can remember. The good mood reflected on her as well, given that she seems very uplifted and bubbly. Michael Bublé. I don't know what it is about her that makes me so at ease. Wow, we've been talking for a bit, haven't we? Man, I didn't even realize the time. I guess we've been talking for a while. I can see why you come to the literature club so much. I'm gay. There really is a welcome at ease vibe here. It must be a nice change of pace after how hectic the school day can be. I have no excuse for my poor reading this time around. I really don't. Okay. I was hoping you'd say that, Markapi. It really is, and I'm grateful for the others as well. They really help make the club the way it is. This is gonna be a challenge, I'm telling you. I can't help but notice that Natsuki and Yuri seem to be very different though. Do they argue much? She looks a little downcast at my question. Sometimes yes, but thankfully it isn't often. I can sense this isn't a topic she likes discussing. Well, that's only normal, I guess. Monica seems like a great president though. She must be very proud of this club. Just then, Monica gets up from the desk she was sitting at and faces the classroom confidently. I looked up some Rule 34 of the Doki Doki girls. I was not disappointed. There is some great art out there. I posted some censored versions in the episode 1, of course, I'm sure you saw if you're watching this one. But go look up some Doki Doki Rule 34 because there are very talented artists out there. That is all I have to say about that topic. Speak of the devil. I forget her voice. All right. Drink time. Okay, here we go. Okay, everyone. I hope we're all having a good time so far. There's a good moment of silence during which everyone seems to be glancing at me. Do they want me to respond? I'm honestly having a great time. Thanks for the warm welcome, everyone. Well, it's great to hear that. And as it turns out, Natsuki baked some cupcakes for the club too. Yeah, I know. I was just about to announce it, so let me get them. Sayori speaking. Let's go sit over there, Markapi. It looks like there's room at those desks for all of us. I dutifully follow Sayori over to where the rest of the girls have pulled a couple of desks together to form a table. How about I make some tea as well? Natsuki and Yuri walk over to the corner of the room where Natsuki grabs a rapid tray and Yuri opens the closet. Still feeling a bit awkward, I opt to see you. Whoa, English is easy to read. I opt to take a seat next to Sayori. If the conversation starts to die out, I can always rely on her to save me. Meanwhile, Natsuki proudly marches back to the table, tray in hand. Okay, are you ready? Ta-da! Wow. Natsuki lifts the foil off the tray to reveal a dozen white, fluffy cupcakes decorated to look like little cats. The whiskers are drawn with icing and little pieces of chocolate were used to make the pussycat ears. So kawaii! I had no idea you were so good at baking, Natsuki. Well, just hurry and take one. Sayori grabs one first, then Monica, I follow. It's delicious! Sayori talks with her mouth full and has already managed to get icing on her face. I turn the cupcake around my fingers, looking for the best angle to take a bite. Natsuki is quiet. I can't help but notice her sneaking glances in my direction. Is she waiting for me to take a bite? I finally bite down. The icing is sweet and full of flavor. If she made it all by herself, that's seriously impressive. It practically tastes professionally done to me. But then again, it's not like I have the most discerning taste palate. These cupcakes are amazing. Thank you, Natsuki. Yeah, you better thank me, 'cause this took hard work to do. Yeah, it really seems like it. Did you make it by yourself, or did your parents help you? Hey, what's that supposed to mean? Are you saying I couldn't have done it myself? No. It's just that it seems professionally made, so I was wondering if an actual baker helped you. Pfft, I wish my dad was a baker, but just because I don't bake for money, it doesn't mean that I can't be good. Okay, I need some more water. Yeah, the main reason we don't pick the Natsuki route is we don't have to talk to her as much, and we can spare our vocal cords. Yeah, you're right. Sorry, I just suck at cooking myself, so I'm wowed by good cooking. I guess I should count myself lucky that I got to try your cupcakes today, eh? Canadian. Uh-huh, it's not every day that I have time to bake, so be thankful. Oh my gosh, the expression on Natsuki's face practically says, bow down before me, peasant. Are you expecting Markabi to prostrate himself before you? I saw that as I'm prostate, like prostate orgasms, whatever. Looks like Monica had the same thought. Ooh. You can't blame Natsuki for bragging a little. I would too if I made these. Yeah, exactly. Natsuki smiles gratefully at Sayori's save. Meanwhile, Yuri returns to the table carrying a tea set. She carefully places a teacup in front of each of us before setting down the teapot next to the cupcake tray. You keep a whole tea set in this classroom? Don't worry, the teachers gave us permission. After all, doesn't a hot cup of tea help you enjoy a good book? I guess. Don't let yourself get intimidated. Yuri's just trying to impress you. That's not... Embarrassed, Yuri looks away. I mean that... Don't worry about it. I believe you. Tea and reading might not be a common pastime for me, but I can at least appreciate it. I'm glad. Yuri faintly smiles to herself in relief. Monica raises an eyebrow, then smiles at me. I'm happy that you look like you're enjoying yourself, Markabi. As president of the literature club, it's my duty to make the club fun and exciting for everyone. Oh, that reminds me. I've actually been meaning to ask you something, Monica. How come you decided to start your own club? You could probably be a board member for any of the major clubs. Weren't you a leader of the debate club last year? Well, to be honest, I can't stand all of the politics around the major clubs. It feels like nothing but arguing about the budget and publicity and how to prepare for events. I'd much rather take something I personally enjoy and make something special out of it. And if it encourages others to get into literature, then I'm fulfilling that dream. Monica really is a great leader. Yuri also nods in agreement. Then I'm surprised there aren't more people in the club yet. But I guess it must be hard to start a new club since everyone's probably settled into their own activities already.
You could put it that way. It can be hard to get people invested in things that are brand new, especially when it's something that doesn't grab your attention like literature. You have to work to convince people that you're both fun and worthwhile, but it makes school events like the cultural festival that much more important. Speaking of school events, I don't think I saw your club at the club fair at the beginning of the year. That's because I hadn't started yet. Oh, guess that explains why you don't have many members yet. Yeah, we missed that opportunity to draw in first years who hadn't found clubs yet. It's a lot harder to advertise on a person-by-person basis. And like you said, a lot of people already have other extracurriculars by now. But even so, I'm confident that we can all really grow this club before we graduate. Right, everyone? Yeah! We'll do our best. You know it! Everyone enthusiastically agrees. Such different girls, all interested in the same goal. Monica must have worked really hard just to find these three. Maybe that's why they were also delighted by the idea of a new member joining. Though I still don't really know if I can keep up with their level of enthusiasm about literature. By the way, I know that everyone here likes reading, but do you guys write as well? A little Wawa break here. Quite refreshing. Actually, we haven't really done any writing together, funnily enough. Do you guys just read and discuss books then? You could say that. Sounds more like normal book club than a literature club. Huh? To be honest, I was kind of expecting you all to do stuff like write poetry together. At the word poetry, Natsuki jolts back a bit. Do you not like poetry, Natsuki? What? I don't really have an opinion on it, I guess. Oh, really? With a sly smile, Monica gets up, rummages through her book bag, and returns with a loose notebook page in her hand. I happen to have a poem called... Hey, where'd you get that? Natsuki springs up and snatches the paper out of Monica's grasp. Don't worry, I didn't steal it from your bag or anything. You dropped it on the way out the other day. I was going to return it, but I couldn't help teasing you a bit before I did that. Well, I'd appreciate it if you kept your nosy nose out of my private work. Aha, duly noted. And sorry, I just couldn't help glancing over your poem when I picked it up. Your writing style is really cute, Natsuki. Your cupcakes, your poems, everything you do is just as cute as you are. Sayuri slides up behind Natsuki and puts her hands on her shoulders. I was gonna say breast. I'm not cute! Hey, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So you do write your own poems, Natsuki? Well, I guess sometimes. Why do you care? I just think that's pretty neat. Why don't you share them with the club sometime? Not if everyone's just gonna call them cute. Like Sayuri said, there's nothing wrong with being cute, you know. You wouldn't get it. There's nothing worse than trying to get honest feedback from someone and just having them say it's cute. Scorn drips from the word cute. I guess I didn't think of it that way. Yeah, no one does. It's super annoying, you know. Actually, I believe I understand how Natsuki feels. Natsuki looks surprised at Yuri's sudden interjection. Sharing that level of writing takes more than just confidence. The truest form of writing is writing to oneself. You must be willing to open up to your own readers, exposing your vulnerabilities and showing even the deepest reaches of your heart. And when that's all dismissed with a single remark, well, suffice to say it can greatly discourage you from putting your work out there again. It sounds like oh my gosh, so many switches. Oh man. It sounds like both you and Natsuki have writing experience in common, Yuri. Maybe. Although I didn't mean to speak for Natsuki. Jeez, it's fine. I pretty much agree with what you said, so...
A brief moment of silence falls upon us as we all reflect on the conversation.
This just gave me an idea, everyone.
We all look quizzically at Monica, who smiles knowingly back at us.
If we have members who are looking for legitimate criticism of their poetry, how about we do that here? I'm sure we can all trust each other to be respectful, and I think it'd be a fun activity for us. I don't know if I feel comfortable sharing my old poetry. I didn't write it to be read by the public, so...
Yeah, same here.
That's fine. We can all just go home and write new poems to bring tomorrow. I was going to suggest that anyway, since I don't think the rest of us have poetry ready to share. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I think learning about poetry would be really fun. And now that we have a new member, I think it will help us all get a little more comfortable with each other and strengthen the bond of the club. Isn't that right, Markapi?
Monica smiles warmly at me once again. The Literature Club has been very welcoming so far, at least after the initial introductions were made. And although I have to start writing poems, it seems like a fair price to pay in order to spend every day with these beautiful girls. And Natsuki. I had my doubts at first, but given how friendly and welcoming these girls are, I don't really see any reason why I shouldn't join the club. Yep, I'll be looking forward to becoming better friends with you all.
Then that makes it official. Welcome to the Literature Club.
Thank you, Monica.
Yes, I'm so happy you're joining us.
Sayori wraps her arms around me, jumping up and down. Hey.
And thanks for playing along.
She whispers... Oh, okay.
And thanks for playing along.
She whispers this last remark in my ear, so she was aware that I'd never agreed to join in the beginning. That sneaky girl. Although Sayori is the most enthusiastic, all of the girls' eyes are lit up in happiness.
I would have been super pissed if you just left after eating my cupcakes. I'm very glad that you're staying as well. Okay, everyone. I think with that, we can officially end today's meeting on a good note. Don't forget tonight's assignment. Write a poem to bring to the next meeting so that we can hold discussions.
Monica looks over at me once more. I just had a brain fart. I don't know, I just forgot my voice. Rehydrate myself. If you have not had a drink of water during this whole recording, you guys need to go get some. Like, you need some right now. No, I'll wait. It's cool. You got it? Promise? Are you hydrated now? Okay, I'll go on then.
Markapi, I look forward to seeing how you express yourself.
Yeah. Can I really impress Monica with my mediocre reading and writing skills? I can't read, so not that. Something tells me no. Geez, I can already feel the anxiety welling up inside me. Ah, well, it's not like Monica's going to be as harsh as an actual literature teacher though, right? Meanwhile, the others continue to chit-chat as Yuri and Natsuki clean up their food. Hey, Sayori, since we're already here, do you want to walk home together? Given that she introduced me to all these amazing people, it's the least I could do for her.
Sure, let's head home.
With that, the two of us wave goodbye to the others and make our way home. Epic. On the way back, we discuss the events of the day, focusing particularly on each club member. As we do so, my mind wanders between them all. Sayori, Natsuki, Yuri, and Monica. I'm excited to hang out with everyone from now on. Perhaps I'll have the chance to grow closer to one of them. Alright. I'll just need to make the most of my circumstances, and I'm sure good fortune will find me. And I guess that starts with writing a poem tonight. Well, that's cute. That's a really cool transition. It's time to write a poem. Pick words you think your favorite club member will like. Something good might happen with whoever likes your poem the most. I guess I haven't established this yet. I think I'm gonna be a Yuri man if I'm gonna be ever so honest here. If given, I actually don't know who we can pursue. Because there are multiple characters, like even like side characters. I assume we can only go with the 3 girls here. But if I could go Monica, I'd probably go Monica over Yuri. So we're gonna go Yuri here, starting off with melancholy, which she likes. And she's also an intellectual who is secretive. And she likes, look at this photograph. Oh, fuck. But she is uncontrollable. And she has determination because she is pouting. Fuck. That was a Natsuki. We only get one of those fellas. Natsu's disaster. Effulgent. I need to climax. There we go. I'm just agonizing over those cheeks. Philosophy is epic. I'm a bit tenacious. And I also enjoy meagerness because a mausoleum would be an extra whirlwind of pleasure inferno. And it's also a bit frightening because of my unrestrained, incongruent cock. That is my poem. Epic. All right. Mark Hoppy, fancy meeting you here. Yeah, what a coincidence, huh? Seriously speaking though, I'm happy to see you back here. I would have been disappointed if you ran away on us, haha. Hey, I enjoyed myself last time, so why wouldn't I come back? True enough. Feel free to make yourself at home before we start our club activities. Thanks, will do. Well, I'm back at the literature club. Sayori and I were the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging out.
Oh, Markapi, I'm glad to see you here again.
Who knew that something so simple would warrant so much thanks? First Monica, now Yuri?
I know that may be overwhelming to be thrown into a new hobby so suddenly, much less an organization centered around that hobby. So don't hesitate to let me know if you ever need any help. Or any other club member for that matter. That is to say, feel free to ask any one of us for assistance.
Right. Thanks. I'll keep that in mind. Don't worry though, it's not like I've never read anything before. Huh. I even remembered to write a poem for today, if you believe it. We'll believe it when we see it! Hey, it's not like I need to have a university degree to write a poem. It was just like another school assignment. Although it might be a little new to me, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to write a bad poem, you mean? She's got me there. And that's why I never said I wrote a good poem. Natsuki smirks at me, seemingly pleased that I'm not offended by her teasing.
Well, good is often subjective when it comes to subjects like these. I'm sure you did fine, Markapi.
Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. Try not to overhype my work, though. Yeah, Yuri, if you keep your expectations low, you'll never be disappointed. Oh my gosh, I need water. Natsuki's voice just ends me. It just dismantles my vocal cords, and it's not epic, guys. I ain't gonna lie. Besides, I bet this is the first extracurricular Markapi's done since high school started. She means college, because we're college-age individuals. Everyone here is over 18. So extra work is probably really foreign to him. Again, she's not wrong, but she doesn't have to say it like that.
Natsuki, you're being awfully harsh. Unfairly harsh. Sorry, I'm retarded. I can't read English.
Markapi, what would you say your main hobbies are? Wow, she's really putting me on the spot here. I know I'm playing into your teasing right now, but yes, I spend a lot of time playing games and watching anime. And that's all you need to know.
That's a bit rich coming from someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room.
What? Natsuki splutters to a halt. Looks like a certain someone knows how to dish it out, but can't take it. Manga is literature! Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat.
Don't worry, guys. Markapi always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. He's always been there when I need it. When we were kids, he'd always be around to help me with stuff. Oh, are you two childhood friends?
I glance at Sayori. Despite her cheery recollection of our childhood memories just then, Yuri's question is a reminder that we haven't spent much time together in a long time. It's a tad awkward. Yeah, we've known each other for a while, haven't we? We smile at each other. I'm really hoping we can use the club to reconnect.
Such a history with one another. I imagine you shared much together.
You could say that. Would you believe Sayori is still as clumsy now as she was 10 years ago?
Hey, Meanie, that's not true.
Oh, need I tell Oh man, need I tell Yuri about the time you tried to cook lunch and almost set the house on Her face turns pink and she rushes to interrupt me.
Anyway, I'm sure you two could be just as good of friends. After all, you're both in the literature club now.
Yeah. I'll look forward to it. Yuri looks hopeful at hearing this, although I can't help but wonder. Given the maturity and intelligence she carries so elegantly, and how her passion for reading is much stronger than my own, will it be as easy as Sayori thinks it is? Still, it's worth a try at least.
Yay! Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know? Wait, Sayori.
Me?
It's not much, really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing.
Whatever it is, I'm sure I'll like it. What is it, Yuri?
Sayori made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. I was going to wait to give it to you at the appropriate time, but... I'm sorry, Yuri, I wasn't thinking. Now I've ruined the surprise.
The two girls both look dolefully down. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue this situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place. So this is still a pleasant surprise to me. Just knowing that you went through the efforts to get me something makes me feel really welcomed. No matter what, I'm sure it'll make me happy.
Is that so?
Of course. Thanks for being so considerate, Yuri.
You're welcome. It was the least I could do. Anyway, if that's the case, here it is.
Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. Isn't this the book from yesterday? Upon seeing the confused look on my face, she hastens to explain.
I thought you might like to, have your own copy so that you can read it on your own as well.
I honestly don't know what to say. How is it that she's only known me for a day, yet she's already done something this thoughtful for me? Oh, Yuri, thank you. That's really thoughtful of you. But, you didn't have to do that for me. I feel kind of bad.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean for that. I just, I understand if you don't want to read with me anymore, so...
Honestly, she gets more adorable by the minute. She do be looking kind of cute, though. Please, it's fine. I'd love to read it with you. I just wasn't expecting you to buy me a copy of my own.
Are you sure? I don't want to force you.
Ooh, just force me, Yuri. Just put me on the desk and force me. I'm begging you. Pleading with you. Seriously, Yuri, I'm sure. After all. I grin at her. It is a good book. She timidly returns my smile, relaxing a little bit.
I'm glad you seem to think so. How are you liking it so far?
She looks at me with wide, expectant eyes. She must be really worried that I'm not enjoying it as much as her. To be honest, I've been pleasantly surprised. While horror isn't really my thing, it really kept my attention. Even though I haven't gotten very far yet, I find myself feeling sorry for the protagonist. The language is pretty, engaging. It certainly makes me think about it. As I praise the book, her face grows visibly more relieved, and her eyes light up as I mention the language.
I'm glad you think so. One not need
Oh my gosh.
One not only needs to look at what is being said, but how it's phrased. It can entirely change the desired message. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh boy. I hope we don't get into an in-depth discussion about the language. I'm still nowhere near Yuri's level with this sort of thing. Oh, totally. I never really thought about it until you brought it up with me. You really made me look at it with a bit more scrutiny than I would normally. She blushes at this, turning away slightly.
Really? I helped you with that?
I have to admit, you really managed to open my eyes to this sort of thing. You can tell we're getting near the end. The words are slurring, stuttering, misreading, all of that. We're gonna wrap it up here pretty shortly once we get to a nice stopping place. Or should I say, my third eye, my whispering eye. Yuri's silence makes me nervous. Did I make a mistake? You know, because the book mentions the third eye, and there's an eye on the cover.
Ah, I see.
Probably best not to comment on her accidental continuation of the pun. Tough crowd.
Oh, I see you were making a joke. I'm sorry, I didn't realize.
No worries, I just thought it was a good pun. She smiles bashfully.
Yes, it is quite humorous, isn't it?
Phew, I think she means everything is okay now. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off the scheduled activities for the club. Like the poetry thing, I've already steeled myself for the critique I'll probably be receiving. I've never seen steeled written like that. Steeled. But it seems that we have some downtime before then. Ah well, looks like I won't be able to just immediately get it over with. What are the others doing right now? Sawyer and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner, probably discussing club matters, given that they're the president and vice president. As expected, Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. A few huffs of annoyance sound from her direction every once in a while. I'd love to call Yuri a bit more, especially after she gave me the book. However, she seems to be focused on her own book. I'm worried if I might just distract her. As she lifts it up to turn the page, I get a glimpse at the cover. It's the same book that she gave me, and it looks like she's only just started it. Oh damn, I hope she doesn't think I was staring at her. Our eyes meet, but her eyes dart away quickly.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I didn't mean to stare, I was just spacing out a bit.
Oh. Well, if I had actually been concentrating, I wouldn't have noticed.
I meant to ask though, isn't that the book you gave me?
Mm-hmm. It's one of my favorites, so I thought I'd give it another read-through. Not for any other reason, I assure you.
I see. But why do you have two copies of the same book?
Well, I know I lent you the book yesterday, but I figured you might feel more comfortable with your own copy. I know that I always feel more at ease when I'm handling my own belongings. If an accident happens, there's less at stake than if you damage someone else's property, so... You're probably less clumsy than I am, though.
Yuri, the ever-graceful girl, thinks that she's clumsy? Nah, I'm pretty sure I'm just as clumsy as you, if not more so.
Oh, right. Anyway, after our meeting adjourned yesterday, I went to the bookstore to get you... That is to say, I forgot I already had a copy and accidentally bought another, and it seemed like a waste just to hold on to it.
Couldn't you have just returned it, though?
They'd already closed, so...
There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decide to let it go. I guess it doesn't really matter. I'm glad that you gave it to me. I'll get started on it right away.
That makes me happy. That makes me happy to hear.
Dude, I gotta wrap this up. Give me a good stopping point. I'm just waiting for one, man.
It's the kind of story that really draws you in. If you're not careful, you can lose track of time very easily. I know I've opened it for some light reading before bed, only to close it and find out that the sun's rising. I'm sure that won't happen to you, though. You'll be able to get enough sleep as usual. That is, unless you generally find yourself lacking sleep, in which case you should go to bed earlier.
Dude, Yuri is best girl. She's looking out for our sleep schedule, man.
But you can do whatever you want. I don't mean to overstep my bounds.
Don't worry about it, Yuri. I'll be sure to read it earlier in the day. Do you mind telling me a bit more about it?
Oh, I'd love to. Now, where do I begin?
Yuri delicately closes the book, her eyes scanning the cover. Markapi takes a drink of Wawa. He feels refreshed, rejuvenated, and revitalized. He begins reading.
Well, actually, I don't think I could give an adequate explanation on my own. If I were to tell you more about the story than I did yesterday, it would lose a lot of its impact. Forgive me if it sounds like I'm brushing you off. That's not what I intended.
It's alright, Yuri. Come to think of it, you did summarize it well enough already.
Yes. I'm sorry, I seem to get lost in my own mind whenever I talk about these kinds of stories. Don't you have anything like that, Markapi?
I guess so. Yuri nods with a delicate smile.
Everyone has a deeply held interest that stirs the passion within their heart. I suppose for me it would be my novels and...
Yuri cuts herself off as though she were about to say something she didn't want to.
Well, you know what I mean.
What got you into these sort of stories, though? I gestured towards the book in her arms. Do your parents enjoy them? Wait, what? Can I go back? History. Is that? Do your parents enjoy them as well? I said it right. Do your parents enjoy them as well? Yuri pauses for a moment, shyly looking down at her feet. She seems to be going over what she wants to say in her head.
I've always had an interest in the...
Macabre? What the fuck is that? I'll have to Google that later.
This genre can easily throw you through a loop. While many stories are simply content to introduce an antagonist and condition their reader to root against them, books like this one can find ways to flip the narrative on its head. So while you might initially find yourself relating to the protagonist, you might suddenly find out you might suddenly find out that they are their own worst enemy. Oh man. Give me a choice. I always like to be a little cock tease and like leave things on a cliffhanger, but nothing's cliffhangery enough. I'm rambling, aren't I? Please forgive me. I really should try to think about others more. Ooh.
Yuri, I promise I'm not mad at you. You're just passionate, which is pretty cool. Pretty epic even.
It is?
For a brief moment, a tiny smile teases at the corner of Yuri's mouth.
Well, I'll try not to worry about it too much. But sometimes I get distracted when I think about books and writing. I forget where I am and start speaking my mind. So please forgive me if I say anything unusual. And if it seems like I'm not paying attention, please let me know.
I really don't think you need to worry about that, Yuri. This is a literature club after all. Isn't that the sort of thing we should be discussing anyway?
I suppose so.
So, on that note, would you like to read a bit together?
You don't need to force yourself to spend time with me if you don't want to.
But what if I do?
You'd really want to spend your time with me?
Of course, Yuri. Book in hand, cock in hand, I slide into the desk next to Yuri. Is everything okay?
Yes. I'm terribly sorry, Markapi. I'm just not accustomed to reading in company. It's usually been a solitary affair for me, you see.
Yeah, I can understand how this might seem a bit unsettling for you. If it gets too overwhelming, let me know. I won't be offended if you need some space.
Alright.
I open up the book, allowing the hardcover to flop against the desk. Wiener, floppy wiener. As I read through the prologue, I notice Yuri glancing over at my book. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't comforting in a way, but it's somewhat distracting.
I'm sorry. I hope I wasn't distracting you.
Yuri, why do you apologize all the time? You've really done nothing wrong.
Do I? I can't help it. I suppose it's like an involuntary reflex. If I preemptively apologize, it'll lessen both my disappointment in myself as well as others' disapproval of me. I didn't mean to make things so awkward. Sorry. I mean...
It's okay. Don't worry about it. How about we do this? I push our two desks together, then slide my book between the two of them.
I suppose that'll work.
Yuri puts her own copy away and shifts a bit closer to me. I steady the right side of the book between my thumb and forefinger, and Yuri does the same with the other side. Perfect. Now we can both go through the book. Now we can both go through it at the same pace.
Yes.
I think we're going to call it there, fellas. That seems like a good enough place to stop. My reading comprehension is getting a bit low. I ain't gonna lie. Is it just me or does this mod pack seem very... I don't know, I feel like this is quite similar to that of the original game. But, like the first time through, like we met the new characters and stuff, but like this time everything seems like exactly the same. Besides like the little transitions. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you have not done so already. And as always, help me find a girlfriend. And bye-bye.